Yeah, they say I'm confrontational. I want peace, just not at the cost of my silence. Speak up. Through the hood, I keep hearing people saying I'm supposed to die tonight. They can't destroy what they ain't built in the first place. So I'm finna ride tonight. I went from a truth seeker to truth speaker, truth through the booth, your Bluetooth.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Matter. I'm so unorganized here because I was on Christmas break and my brain took a break too. So bear with me. And we're going to be talking about, is conservatism dead? Is it alive? Is it dead? Can we revive it? How are people feeling about Trump's statement on the jabs? We also have some other stuff we're going to be talking about, but mostly, why can't conservatives have something to say about Trump? Did you notice that? Have you guys noticed that? Anytime you talk anything about Trump, people get in this like weird mode of like, don't be talking about my Trump. Trump is a man just like everybody else. And I have a few guests with me. Sorry, I got to make this public. We're also going to be having Bryson Gray join as soon as he gets on. But I'm going to bring my guests on. You guys know who they are. They need no introduction. We got Mo and James here. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
What's up?
Great. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun show. Do you guys know that I'm now on George Soros's payroll? Did you hear that rumor about me?
Really?
I mean, I get lost in all the rumors I hear about you. I can't keep up.
You're on his payroll. Why are you talking about Trump? I'm like, whoa, calm down. Calm down. I guess we can ask the question, and Bryson can come on here and hop on in the middle of it. But I personally think conservatism is taking a swan dive because of repeated behaviors that aren't working. What do you guys think?
I have to agree 100%. And it's taken a swan dive fast, okay? Like into the pits of hell. It's literally like, it's not even a gradual, just the tip. It is all the way, okay? It's all the way. I'm sorry for the graphic description, but you know me, I gotta keep it like that.
No, I don't think that the movement was ever like truly conservative. When you look at conservative, like the definition of conservative or what it means to be a conservative, the movement wasn't centered around that. It was centered around Trump instead of God. Trump said, "Make America great again," but the focus was around Trump. So it was a MAGA movement, but a lot of these people, like Lady MAGA, you had her on, and these people, they're not conservative. In fact, they want religion and God taken out of the country so it can focus more on people and the world. So
I agree. I remember us talking about that privately. Talking about as far as conservatism, is it actually conservatism or is it Trumpism? And I think a lot of people, just like what you said, have just like really latched on to Trump. And now that Trump is gone, he didn't come back like everybody was expecting him to. People don't know what to do. They don't. But lately, my qualm has been more of a, why can't anybody say and point out the truth when it comes to Trump? Now, this interview he did with Candace has been a topic. I don't know if you guys have seen, but CNN did a piece on her without saying her name, but pretty much was like, Trump shuts down an anti-jab person, and he's on our side, and he should have been talking like this from the beginning. I don't like the fact that she's taking the brunt of this hit, and he's taking zero. One thing that people keep saying that's really getting under my skin was he's against the mandates. It doesn't matter. He's not the president. So whether he says he's for or against it, nothing that he says is going to change the current environment in this country. If anything, since he is the people's president, he should be really having his ear to the ground. I'm sure he has people in his camp that know exactly what's going on, and they're not talking about the jab injuries. Why? Why do you keep saying this is a great... He had the nerve to say this is the greatest thing since humankind, whatever the freak he said. And it's just weird. It's just weird. And I give her credit. She tried to reroute him, and he completely just ignored what she had going on, which this is Trump. But why are people letting her take the fall and giving him a whole free pass? Just straight lie. He lied, period, point blank.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I appreciate that you're asking that question, like why are people going harder on her than they are on him? I think because number one, the people that have been going hard on him, are going to attack Candace naturally because they're just going to go in that direction because they've been going after Trump. But I think as far as people who consider themselves Trump supporters and conservatives, it hurts their soul to think that he is not the perfect person that they've made him out to be, because they've put him on this pedestal from the very beginning that he could do no wrong, he could say no wrong. It was almost at a godly level, okay? And now they have to admit that he may not be, as perfect as they thought he was. Now, I don't think any of us ever thought he was perfect. I know I criticized him quite a bit. Suni, you did. James, you probably did as well. But I think that it is detrimental to their soul to sit there and call him out. And I know that because I've had so many people in my DMs on the posts that I've made about it say, what all they're grabbing onto is that one thing that he said that said, well, I think the vaccine, it shouldn't be mandated. I think it should be everybody's choice. And that's all they heard because that's what they wanted to hear. But they didn't hear the part where he was basically, stroking his ego over and over and over again about how he came up with the vaccine, how it's the greatest thing since mankind. And then the part where he says, the people that are getting really sick and going into the hospital are people that are not vaccinated, which is completely false. Like, that's where I wish Candace would have pushed harder, because she did a live 2 nights ago where she came with all these facts about, big pharma and how they lie to you about the statistics and this, that. Like, where was that Candace in that interview? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. What do you think, James?
Yeah, so like I think there's like another part that people aren't kind of seeing is that like during the Trump campaign, and like I love the guy, but the dude's a boomer. Like, and when I say boomer, I don't mean like his generation. I mean like the dude's a boomer. Like he's very, very smart, he's very knowledgeable and everything, but he is a boomer. And like there was a quote where he announced that he was going to be making a big announcement in January, presumably his presidential run for 2024. And then he said the first thing he's going to do is he's going to, what was it? He was going to right the wrongs that happened on November 3rd. So the election that was overturned on January 6th will be justified. And like when I read that quote, I'm like, this guy is not like, I don't think he's like not fully there, but I don't think that like, I think that like his age is catching up to him, and I think that's a factor in it. That's a factor in it. And when he was in office, like I never ever said that he was perfect. I said that like it is not a qualification to be the president of the United States to be perfect. And a lot of people, when I said that, I got not canceled, but I got chastised for that. They're like, "How can you say that Trump is imperfect?" And I said, "Well, there are some things that Trump has said that came off as like human error during his 2016 campaign. We all know what those are. Different context, things that he could have used. And people, when you start to say stuff like that, it's like you're questioning God, like you're blaspheming or you're being a heretic. And it's very dangerous that we can't criticize like an elected official and now one of the biggest influencers in the conservative community. We cannot criticize him. And when you let somebody go unchecked for so long, they become ignorant and just totally naive to what the base wants. So it's a dangerous thing. And that's when I thought like Candace of all people, being the savage, straightforward person that she is, would have just like cut into him and said like, what are you talking about? Your people don't believe that. Your entire base is against what you just said right there. And she did.
I agree.
Yeah.
Bryson is here. I don't know what's going on with his camera, so hopefully he can come back and fix it.
I'm not, am I on the right? Because I'm trying to find it on YouTube because somebody messaged me that they can't find it through the link, and I'm on your YouTube channel. Is it the Suni Blanks one?
No, I didn't tell you guys. I got back into my bigger one. So this is, matter of fact, let me do this. I'll air it on
That's
both.
Incredible.
Which one is it? Which channel is it?
It's the original one, Hot Mic.
Okay, because I put the wrong link then in my Instagram.
It's live up there now. I added it, so everybody should be getting notifications right now as we speak. There's Bryson. So I heard Candace when she said that he's a boomer. He's listening to mainstream media, but I think people forgot Trump's stance on jabs. He was anti-jab completely. And I actually put this together, this little graphic of most of the quotes that he had going on. So I'll say since 2008 up to 2016, he's been completely against it because of the jab injuries that we're talking about. But in this time, it was happening in children, causing autism. And he had so much to say about it. So the fact that he's pushing this now solely because he made it is really grinding my gears. I like consistency. I know you guys do too. Be consistent, bro. What's up, Bryson?
Hey.
I don't think he can hear me. He can't.
You gotta unmute it. Oh, you should. Why am I telling Bryson this? Oh my god.
Can you hear us? I guess not. You can't hear us? That's crazy.
He can't hear us.
I don't know.
Maybe it's connected to his car Bluetooth or something.
Maybe.
His car.
We also have Unifier here chopping it up with us. He said,
Hey,
I
how we
can't hear
doing?
correctly. Good. How you doing?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How we doing?
Lit. Bryson couldn't.
Hopefully he'll be back.
Over there.
Is the camera clear?
It is. It looks good.
Okay,
Crystal,
cool.
bro.
Hey, what we doing, man?
Good. So we're just talking about the main topic is conservatism dead? And why can't we critique and comment on Trump and his lack of consistency? I don't think most people really know this about him. He like I just said before, he was anti-jab. And all of a sudden he's for the jab because he created it. But he's also very tone deaf to what's going on across the nation where people are getting injured from this. People have not able to go back to work. You have a cop who got it, who had to actually take an absence of leave because he can't stand up straight. And this is all over news media, like everywhere. This story actually was probably the one that went most viral, specifically because he is a cop and they're still mandating it, even though people are being harmed by it. So why?
I mean, if he's truly ignorant of this, it would surprise me. It would surprise me a lot because you're talking about a man who, opened a lot of people's eyes to exactly how deep the deep state goes, and a lot of things that we didn't know about. So it would surprise me greatly if he was truly ignorant of the damages that this shot can and has done. So I'm not buying that. I think that's an easy way out. It's an easy cop out when he's too old to know all these things. He's not too old. Trump is very sharp, very witty, very smart guy. Always has been. And so to use that as an excuse, it surprised me, that nothing against Candace, but it did surprise me that was her reasoning. And it also surprised me what he said. But I covered this in a video before. If our focus remains on God, then stuff like this wouldn't bother us as much. I'm not saying don't be upset because we have a right to be upset because, dude, where's this coming from? Have you sold out? I mean, what's the deal? What's this all about? So
I agree.
I understand being upset, but to the degree that I saw some conservatives being upset, that's not healthy. Like, this guy cannot make or break your entire life. Your focus is not in the right place if what he said literally destroys you. So that was my only issue with conservatives is the extreme responses to it. That's my only thing.
What's up, Bryson? I know you only got a little bit of time, man. Tell us what you think about all this.
Well, I think the extreme reactions, to be fair, I don't know to what extent you mean by extreme reaction, but the majority of reactions that I've seen is needed, necessary. It's nothing but just like he got booed in Alabama. He got booed in the interview with Bill O'Reilly. All he's doing is getting booed on Twitter, but people expressing it through words. Because especially as a Christian, most Christians, there's two groups that's against the vaccine for real. and that is Christians and conservatives, and they intertwine a bit with the two. So if you see somebody that's you see a lot of people already saying Trump 2024. You know what I'm saying? So if you believe this is a precursor to the mark of the beast, or you believe that is a part of the mark of the beast itself, and you see somebody that's supposed to be, I guess, a type of a leader figure in a specific movement, and that person, in your eyes, is pushing the mark of the beast, or the precursor to the mark of the beast, then you should understand why that reaction is necessary. And not only that, I don't know if it was you talking, but we already understand that this has been killing people, and the adverse reactions compared to any vaccine in history is out of control. I'm against all vaccines. I'm going to make that very clear cut. But if you just compare the reports of adverse reactions and deaths compared to previous vaccines, you probably can't even refer to this as a vaccine. The problem is this didn't go through proper clinical trials. And though Trump keeps bragging about how fast he made it happen, well, that's the issue. There wasn't any clinical trials. And obviously, when you're pitting out something that you're going to put as a substance inside of people's body, clinical trials are required. And then you realize, oh, we are the clinical trials. Well, y'all are the clinical trials, whoever got it, because I didn't get it. But so the American people are the clinical trials. So if we're the clinical trials, and you see over 20,000 reports that's obviously underreported, the clinical trials would have stopped, and whatever substance that was would have been shelved and canceled in any real scientific clinical trial or any real study. So we're seeing somebody like Trump push that, and if you can ignore that and still say, I'm going to support this person in 2024, then what are you supporting? Because there's only two things. Either he's in on it or he's ignorant to it. Those are the only two options you really have. I mean, yes, I guess you could say he's playing 50D chess if you want to. I mean, I guess so. But I mean, I can't argue for or against that because that's something that doesn't really exist, so I can't prove or debunk. Also, I thought Candace asked Trump more tougher questions than any other interview I've seen Trump in the year 2021, period. The only thing is she did seem to change topics when Trump got an attitude, because you saw it. But she pushed it. She said, what about the adverse reactions? What about the deaths? But then he got an attitude. She was like, okay, so what about the kids?
I think that's what surprised everybody. It's like, Candace, don't let this man move you. Don't know. You need to answer these questions. I agree. I have seen conservatives that are just like flipping their, you know what, but most of us are expressing real concern. You're not being consistent, Trump. You're not being consistent from 2012 all the way to 2021. You were against jabs. Now you're for them because you created them, which is ego, which is pride, which is one of the first 7 deadly sins. One of the 7 deadly sins. 2, what he's doing goes against Christianity. You're not supposed to put anything in your body that is going to harm you. Our bodies are God's temple. So how anybody is okay with this? Well, he said he was against mandates. It doesn't matter. He's not the president. Everybody, I'm sorry. There are a select few. It was me, A-Rod, Bryson. I think, Mo, you were on it with us, and a few others. I was just like, no, bro. Tell the truth. Why are you incapable of that? And why is he above the margin of error? Like, nobody can tell Trump he's wrong. No, he's wrong here. We are his base. You need to be listening to us. If you are the people's president, like you're saying you are, you should know all these things that we're talking about. And when Candace did do that live, and she said, well, he only reads, I really believe he only reads mainstream media news. It was just like, okay, so you've been saying for 4 years straight fake news, and now you're reading the same stuff?
Well, yeah, that's why I can't buy that. I can't buy that at all. He even created a platform to get away from mainstream media, and you know, for me, and also Bryson, to what you were saying, I don't mean the extreme reactions as far as just being affected in general. I mean the conservatives who literally said, "Oh, we're done." You know, he's pushing the jab. He sold out. We're done for. It's like he cannot make or break your entire life or our entire existence in this world. That's too much. Like, I understand being affected because it shocked me too. I'm like, okay, I hope this is a deep fake, or I hope this is some type of thing where I'm saying this, but watch out, there's going to be a revelation type of thing. But he's like, he said it and he meant it. He's been saying it for months, you know. And for me, my stance was always, if we don't put so much stock into these individual people like DeSantis Like when people thought Matt Gaetz was a horrible guy, I'm not sure if he is or not. I don't know. That's still up for grabs. But when all these things keep coming out about our favorite people, people are so ready to write them off. Like, oh, we're through. I thought he was going to do this for us. We're through. It's like, it cannot be that easy. That's why we're supposed to be doing our own individual efforts. So things like that won't shake us. It's like, this person can fall off if they want to, but I know this stance that I have, this movement that I'm pushing, that won't matter because I'm doing my thing over here. I know this is going to work. So it's like, that stuff bothers me a little bit. Like, you cannot fall apart like that.
I disagree. And I disagree for multiple reasons. One, you do have stock. When you vote for somebody, that is putting stock in somebody. Period, point blank. You're buying a share. I mean, the only reason somebody can win elections is if they get more votes than electoral votes of that state. But that's only because the states are bigger. So bigger states have a lot more electoral votes. But so you're literally putting stock in this person because you're voting to have your values reflected in policy. That's all voting is. So when people say we're done with Trump over something like this, it's not only because he's pushing the vaccine. I think people are conflating that and to try to come up with excuses. Trump has been pushing this specific vaccine for a year and a half now. Nobody's saying that because he's pushing the vaccine. It's the extra comments he's making. Let me give them to you. One, he said the only reason people are protesting the vaccine is because I'm not president. That is disrespect to your base. Two, when you say that questioning the vaccine is playing into their hand, that is disrespectful. Three, when you say people that get the vaccine aren't being hospitalized and aren't dying, that is disrespectful. So, and then when 2 months ago, he called the booster shot a money grab. Fact. Then 2 months later, he got the booster shot, and then he got mad when he got boosted. And not only that, the craziest one to me is his recent interview. They asked him about how he felt about Joe Biden, and his response was, "I can't say nothing really negative about Joe Biden because he gave me praise for the Operation Warp Speed." Now, so that's if you are a conservative, you've like those 5 things I just named aren't disrespectful. You can't deny they happen. They're out. That's mainstream news. But if that don't make you question Donald Trump, period. I'm not talking about just getting mad for 2 days ago. I'm talking period. And that's on top of January 6th. That's on top of the LGBT push. That's on top of everything else. Them 5 statements should make you feel disrespected as an individual.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys saw the O'Reilly interview, but O'Reilly asked Trump, why didn't you fire Fauci when you were in office? And he never really answered the question other than to say he felt like he really didn't want to upset things more than they already were. That's a problem for me. Okay.
That man was firing everybody for different reasons.
Exactly.
Yeah, for less, bro.
Left and right.
But no, Bryson, I didn't mean people being done with Trump. I mean people that were saying us conservatives are done, as if he is just the absolute pillar of this whole movement. And he's what you're saying. So yeah, I didn't mean like us, like we're done with him. I mean just us as a whole. There's no fixing this nation, and we're just done. We thought he was going to come save the world, which is a very unhealthy expectation. I'm not going to get into all that, but people just came back, expect him to come back with this Trump cape with a T on his chest and just swoop down and just fix all this. Like that's lazy and it's unhealthy. That should not be what we should be looking for.
Some people do treat Trump like Jesus. I've had to learn that the hard way. I've seen people claim to be Christians. They don't even stand up for the word of God like they stand up for Trump. I've never seen it like this before, ever.
Facts. I agree. I personally, and I know we're going to get into this, I think conservatism has died. Like, I'm sorry. Trump came in and completely changed the definition of what it means. People are taking this as a political stance. It's a lifestyle. It's been a lifestyle since the beginning of time. I don't see how you can come back from this specifically because a lot of people are just extremely defeated. And one thing that bothers me the most is the fact that you have people that will not even critique their side, but will constantly talk about the left. And I'm like, bro, all this stuff going on over here, you want to talk about the left? I don't want to talk about the left. Now, if the left does something, everybody knows I'm going to get on and talk about it. but our team is like imploding from the inside out, and nobody wants to talk about it.
Exactly.
Why?
Can you imagine if Candace had an interview with Joe Biden and asked that same question and he gave the same answer? They would cancel. I mean, we canceled Mike Pence for less than this. Seriously.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So,
Bro.
So my thing is, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was gonna say we almost canceled Ted Cruz for simply wearing the mask. I remember.
Right.
Yeah. We almost canceled Ted Cruz for going on a vacation when the whole thing happened in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is, and I don't know if you guys noticed this, I'm in Utah, so we're separate from like the rest of the movement. But when we started, there's like there's the MAGA movement and then the conservative movement. I also saw that all across the country. So you had all these conservatives that were pro-life, pro-family, pro-like traditional family, women in the home, stuff like that, that surfaced and rose with the silent majority. And then you had your MAGA types, and the MAGA types were like the gays and the the rest of them, like all the walkaway people. That was the real MAGA movement. So like at some point, the MAGA movement and the conservative movement joined together, and the term conservative was a hype word. It no longer meant what it meant anymore. And people like Nick Fuentes, Bryson Gray, and people like that, they were like kind of outcasted. People are like, you're not a real conservative if you don't accept gay people. Bryson, I know for a fact you went through that. And, it's like people don't know what conservative means anymore. So I don't think it's dead. I think the meaning of conservatism is dead. And I think it needs to be brought back.
What do you think, Bryson? Is it dead?
I think the definition of it is dead in how people view it, because the definition is simply to advocate for traditional values, if you like it or not. There would be no such thing as social conservatism in the United States of America if it wasn't for Christianity to begin with. Matter of fact, our laws are based on Christianity. The entire government was based on Christianity. The entire country is based on Christianity. And that's the harsh truth that people have to accept. So when I say make America great again, I'm talking about bringing back the values that this country was started on. The Constitution was written for moral and religious people. If you go read the entire letter, that is its proper context. But I do think we need to bring it back, but it takes more people to stand up. The issue is everybody wants to be a cool kid. Even when you go to these conservative events, everybody wants to be with the cool kids. So if the cool kids are saying homosexuality is popping in the streets, then even if you disagree, you might not agree with them. You're just going to be quiet and shut your mouth, because you want them connects. Especially if a lot of these people they're trying to come up. They want to get to the next level. They want to be the next Candace Owens or the next Charlie Kirk or the next Ben Shapiro. So everybody's trying to come up. And if you try to come up, whatever the mainstream conservatives are pushing or against or for, you're gonna adopt that same message a lot of times. But the issue is, it's not enough people standing up. I get DMs from a lot of blue check conservatives. They was like, well, I can't say what you say. I'm gonna have to say one name. Elijah Schaefer used to be one of them. He used to DM me and say, I agree with you, but I can't say what you say. But then as you kept watching, Elijah Schaefer started becoming based. You know what I'm saying? Then he started saying, screw that, I'm saying what I want to say. And now a lot of people are like, okay, Elijah Schaefer is a real conservative. But it started that way. At first it was secret. You know what I'm saying? It was DMs. A lot of conservatives DM me that stuff. So it takes people to not only be loud, but it takes us to start something new that's loud within itself, so we can prop up each other and prop up real conservatives.
Yeah, the problem
I can agree with that.
We're so quick to cancel each other too. I mean, the minute somebody in the conservative movement says something we don't agree with, they're canceled.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure anymore people even know, being a conservative means upholding godly values, right? Or Christian values. I don't even think people are very clear on what that means anymore, let alone let alone the political side of being a conservative, right?
Yeah.
That's how we fix it.
Yeah.
That's how we fix it. We come up with our own thing. I mean,
it's true. We were talking about this in the background yesterday. It can't just be Tatum and Candace anymore. It has to be people like us. I'm not afraid. I will get on here and say whatever I want. Try to cancel me. It's cool. I had somebody just tell me not too long ago, you get paid by George Soros. Why are you speaking against Trump? Well, because Trump is against his base, which is me. I voted for you not once, but twice, which means I put an inkling of faith in you to go into Washington and represent me. America is a republic. Hello. They're not there to do their will. They're there to do ours. And on top of that, you say that you are for conservative values, which I don't see. And I haven't seen it since 2016. I'm going to be honest. When everybody else was cool with the most gay president ever, I was like, absolutely not. No. When everybody wanted to be quiet about the log cabin group, what? Why are you messing with gay people? I'm not messing with gay people. They're messing with me when you try to spill over your ideology into this movement. What are we doing? What is the RNC doing? Why are people so... I just don't get it, and it's frustrating.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Like the RNC is not going to do anything because not the whole Republican Party isn't conservative, and a lot of people within our base think that it is for some reason. Like they get like torn from reality, and that's because they don't know what conservative means. Like I was literally like within this past month with you, Lady Maga and stuff. Like I was literally like told that I wasn't a real conservative because I didn't accept drag queens. And like when you get told that, especially as I started like getting more into the mainstream conservative culture, like I started to realize that the term was gone, and that's dangerous. Like anything is conservative, anything is of God. Love thy neighbor has been like abused so many times.
Oh my
I know
goodness.
that like Bryson and Sunni, like when you guys like speak out against like the LGBTQ like agenda within the conservative movement, you get told like, well, God told us to love thy neighbor. Well, he also told us not to live in sin, but people don't like that part. So like, there's just so much like manipulation of the Bible, manipulation of theology that's going on. And, you know, we're called extremists, and like, I'll gladly like, you know, wear that title. It's just like, I understand the Bible more. And I think that more people, if they want to start saying they're Christian conservative, they need to be versed with theology, and they need to be versed with the knowledge that comes with that before they go and like, you know, try to call other people extremists. Because if that wasn't happening, the stuff that Bryson was saying, and stuff that you're saying, and A-Rod and all those different influencers would be incredibly mainstream. If there wasn't so much confusion about the Bible and theology.
Well, the issue is the issue. Listen, I'm gonna have to pull these scriptures out real quick. I mean, y'all hit me on here. Listen, if we gonna talk. I'm gonna tell you why I'm pulling out these scriptures. The reason I left that last thing with Lady Maga is because he sat there with a straight face and referred to himself as religious, and he said he is a moral and religious person. And people need to open up their Bibles. If you got your Bible out, you near one, pick it up. Go to Psalm chapter 5, verse 5. Read the context if you need to, and then head over to Malachi chapter 1, verses 2 through 3. Now, what it tells you is something clear-cut that you're going to hate. The truth is, God does not love a lot of you homosexuals. And I hate to say it, but it's true. God hates workers of iniquity. It says it verbatim in the Bible. God hated Esau. It says it verbatim in the Bible. I didn't write it. And then the Malachi chapter 1, verses 2 through 3, because I know people's next statement is going to be like, but Bryson, that's the Old Testament. Well, first off, if you say that the Old Testament doesn't matter, that's kind of blasphemous. But I'm glad you said that. If you go over to Romans 9, Paul repeats Malachi chapter 1, verses 2 through 3. And what he tells you is God hated Esau. So the first step is leaving this whole thing is God loves me anyway. No, he don't, Lady Maga. No disrespect. workers of iniquity are not loved. Okay, matter of fact, you know, and I ain't gonna get too deep in this scripture. All I'm saying is that's the first step. Now, I am called to love thy neighbor. Hey, we can debate about what that means, but even if it means we are called to love all of each other, in that case alone, love is correction, as Sunni said. So when I say I don't want you to go to hell, you can choose to if you want to, but I don't want you to end up there. So I'm trying to warn you that if you continue down your wicked path, that's where you will end up. So it is love. But what isn't love is lying. You're not a conservative if you're dressing up as drag queen. You're not. You definitely can't be social conservative if you're a homosexual. Pretty much period, unless you're turning away from that. And if you're not social conservative, if you're a liberal socially, but you're economically conservative, guess what? You're not a conservative. That's called more of a libertarian.
Yes, I would agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Now, if more people can grasp that concept, maybe we'd be in a better place. But as long as we keep playing inclusion, as long as we keep pandering to feelings, we'll be in this situation where you can't differentiate Republican from Democrat now, because you can't. They're literally doing the same thing. We don't believe in identity politics, but we're going to form a rainbow coalition with people who lead with identity. Make up your mind.
What's happening? Why there's
Why?
so much confusion? So you got Turning Point USA, you got Blexit, you got PragerU, you got all these amazing organizations. We don't have a mainstream Christian conservative equivalent of that at all. SUNY just dropped. Does that mean we all know?
No.
Okay.
It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like Instagram when SUNY drops. I don't think. I hope.
All right. Yeah.
There's
I don't know, but we don't have it yet.
Go ahead. We don't have it yet, Bryson?
Yeah. I said we ain't got it yet.
I know what you're talking about. But yeah, we need a centralized movement. We need an organization to teach these base principles, because there's none. There's so many different people talking. There's people bearing false truths, as Bryson saw, false teachers. There's no centralized message like Turning Point has or Blexit has, like We the Free. We don't have that in the movement, and it needs to happen in order to right these wrongs.
Since you brought that up, I think, and I did this on Blexit already. So it's time to clean house. Sorry, if you are pushing a conservative message, you need to make sure all your chapters are in line with what the two co-founders believe in. Because if not, it looks weird. Same thing with Turning Point. I've heard so many horror stories about Turning Point events. So freaking many. And it makes the rest of conservatives look bad. I don't know why people are afraid. Bryson talked about this a few months ago when we were talking about this stuff. Why can't somebody like Bryson, who literally is living the conservative lifestyle, keeps the 10 Commandments, keeps the Sabbath, perform? Oh, you're too controversial.
Started,
what are you talking about?
They had all these. Oh, go ahead, Bryson. This is your.
No, I was about to say I can't perform, but Tommy Loren, who is pro-LGBT, pro-vaccine, pro-feminism, pro-everything demonic. Matter of fact, the only conservative thing about her is she probably likes lower taxes. She can speak. Rob Smith, his tagline is your favorite black gay conservative. He can speak. That's perfectly fine. Next, they'll probably have Christian Walker speak. Probably he'll probably speak. So those people can speak, but I can't. Anybody like me can't. It's not just me, because I'm not the reason I can't speak. It's the things I say. So anybody saying anything like me can't speak. That's just show people where we're at. It would be understandable if they didn't want to go, further left or further right. They just wanted to play more moderate ground. Then they'll have just people like Ben Shapiro, I guess, speak. But the fact that you allowing the degenerates, you giving the degenerates a platform, and these people are not even really popular in the conservative movement, I know the truth. I go to these events. Nobody asks half these people for pictures, but they up there speaking. Come on, bro.
I mean, I agree. I have often wondered why they don't have people like me. Even Tyler, even though Tyler you're more of an anarchist, that's a brilliant mind, and that is somebody you want on your side, because he has no problem articulating himself and debating in situations like this. Why don't we have more summits? Why don't we have more panels? Why are we not appealing to the younger crowd? Why are you not pushing the people who are popular in this arena? Hello? Do you want to keep losing?
Because there's something that I was talking about, sort of APU, but they're not really. It's Nick Fuentes' thing. We need a centralized organization for Christian conservatives. It needs to happen. It needs to happen within this next new year, because right now we're fighting a battle between evil and good, and you can't fight that battle without a centralized, unified message. And I really think it's time for one. I really do. Because I don't think the conservative movement right now or the organizations in place are going to want to promote the stuff that Bryson does, are going to want to promote the, true Christianity, true, theology and principles. I don't think they're going to want to do that because they'll lose a lot of their base. A lot of people are not prepared to live that way. And there are a lot of us that are. If we get together and we have this like an organization, we'll be able to reach more people, wake more people up, and have another movement or a awakening. So
I agree with that. I do. It's frustrating. It is very frustrating to have such a strong message and so little people tuning in, or so little people. Well, I can't live up to that. Well, I can't do those things. You can. You just don't want to, because it would force you to have to be accountable, which is what people don't really want. They don't want true accountability. They just want to be able to blame something and then cover it up with the favorite phrase, well, the Lord knows my heart. Does he?
Yo,
Does he?
I hear that so much.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know you only have a little bit of time, Bryson, so give us your sentiments on everything else. I feel like I'm losing this battle of conservatism being dead. Maybe it's not exactly dead, and I'm just like ready to throw it out because people are acting completely idiotic. I don't know.
Well, don't you think liberalism has died though?
Yeah, I do gotta go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead, man.
You said what?
Gotta hop off.
I said, we've been talking about, conservatism is dead, but liberalism also died, don't you think? I mean, the liberals that we see here today are not the liberals, of our parents' time or our grandparents' time. It's just not the same.
They're not the hippies anymore. Like they're
Nope.
literally not the hippies anymore. No.
So I actually disagree. I do think it's going towards more leftism, but the definition of liberal is simply just to accept new ideas.
Right.
And liberals do tend to be more accepting whatever comes. So liberalism and conservatism are literally opposites. Conservatism means to want to stay traditional, and liberalism means to accept something new and disregard what's traditional. So
Right.
really, to be a leftist, you have to be a liberal because you're willing to disregard traditional views. So I don't think that liberalism has died. I just think it has become the mainstream liberalism is extreme. So not only are they willing to accept something new, they're taking it to new genders. Men can get pregnant. They're taking it just to a level to where it's like you can't even come back from. But I do gotta go. But the one thing I do want to say is, listen. I don't hate Trump. If Trump switches up and he acknowledges his wrong, then I will be happy. But we know he's not going to do that. But to me, it's just too many strikes piling up, man. It's January 6th, throw us under the bus, LGBT push while claiming to be Christian, and then this vaccine stuff while blatantly disrespecting his supporters. It's just simply not a good look. To me, that's like 3 strikes. That 3 strikes involve 20 other strikes that you just let slide. And then outside of that, DeSantis, he was an advocate for red flag laws. It seems like now he's trying to push constitutional carry. He didn't say outright he was gonna vote on it, but he sort of signaled that he supports it. But at first, he was an advocate for red flag laws. Listen, everybody sucks. My message is all these folks suck. We need some new energy. We need some Christian conservatives, as they said, and it's time to start a new movement. January like 12th, I changed my affiliation from Republican to Independent. We need something new. I'm sorry, because I'm not, as a Christian, I'm not aligning with whatever this is. If the majority of Republicans support same-sex marriage, I don't support whatever that is. Because all Republicans is Democrats from 10 years ago. It's been that way for a while. It's going to continue being that way. So we need to change. But y'all are part of the change, and we are part of the change. We got to keep pushing. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Bryson. I agree.
Vibration. Hi, Shikana.
I need Bryson to rage quit again. He literally rage quit.
We should all get out our headphones and just do that.
Well, Bryson said the strikes are adding up.
Yeah.
It's more than what he just said. The recent news that just came out, and I vetted this, and people are literally losing their minds on me. You're turning against Trump. You're not a real conservative. You don't know what you're talking about. What? Here's the latest. Now, we all know Trump's stance on working with any Chinese company. Don't do it. You know why? Because they have loopholes and they take advantage. And two, he tried to use an executive order to ban TikTok because of TikTok's ties to China and them having direct access to American data. Okay. His newest partner, and it's a investment bank, is based in Shanghai, ran by a Mexican, which in my opinion is like, bruh, what are you doing? This same investment company has been being investigated since 2015 for their fraudulent investments in, I think, 7 different companies. Can you hear us? Uh-oh. 7 different companies. Let me know when you come back. Send me a thumbs up. But I just don't.
Well,
I don't understand why we can't have the realistic conversation of Trump is just not consistent.
well, if you go
Not
farther
consistent.
back, remember he invested billions of dollars into Johnson and Johnson, because remember when he was
Yes.
starting to develop vaccines, he put a lot of money into Johnson and Johnson as well, and that's one thing people forget about. Because I forgot conveniently because when he first did it, I thought it was a good move because I didn't know about Johnson and Johnson's history, so I was ignorant of their issues. And so when he sided with them and put a whole lot of money into it, I'm like, okay, I see what he's doing. This is great. And then I found out what they had done before, and then they just lost this major lawsuit. Now you're not even hearing anything about the Johnson Johnson anymore. It's like, okay, well, why? Why did you put all that money into it for it to be what I think it was the worst one out at the time of what was it, blood clots and things like that. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of because so that brings that into question as well. And so for me, I don't feel and it sounds hypocritical, but I don't feel one way or another about him because of where my focus is. Any person is subject to corruption, coercion,
Right.
being bought, whatever. The devil can get on your shoulder at any moment and tell you, do this, say that. And if you submit to the devil's temptations and whatever he puts in front of you, anyone is subject to fall. So that's why I don't put too much stock. I know what Bryson was saying as far as stock he voted. I get that, but that's because of what I believed him to be. I'm not saying he's not. It's just that I did this because we have an obligation to make a choice. And he was the better choice, in my opinion. So I don't agree with everything he says and never have. So when stuff like this happens, it doesn't shatter me because I know how man is, how flesh is. Um, this is the reason why I think a lot of the more extreme responses were what they were. You have conservatives and Sunni. Mo, I know you. Sorry, man. James, I'm not that familiar with you, but I know that Sunni. I heard you talk about this. Mo, I'm not sure if you talked about this, but a lot of the people that follow Q, a lot of these people have this
Yes.
expectation that Trump is allowing these things to happen. So it has to go this far so we'll see what we've been missing, and he's going to come
Right.
back and fix it all. First of all, that is not cool. If he was, which I don't believe this, if he was allowing these things to happen, people are dying, the economy sucks, all these horrible things are happening. Why would it be so easy for you to just let all that go if he says, hey, I had to allow all these people to die and the economy to go in the toilet just so you guys can learn? And that's
Right.
okay with you? If that was the case, that's just dumb, in my opinion. So the people that follow Q think that this internet is going to get shut down for how long, and all of a sudden we're going to be on this all that stuff. That is not a good idea. All this Q stuff that people keep buying into are actually horrible ideas.
Yeah.
But you
Yep.
got these extreme
I
conservatives that make the rest of us conservatives look crazy because they buy into that. They build their lives
Yep.
around that. That's annoying to me.
Number one, and I saw Liddell, who I think is Truth in the Marketplace. I think that's his account. He said, "Money, money, money." Okay, we forget Trump is a businessman. He came in as a businessman. He's a capitalist. Okay, I honestly don't care. I think running the country is a business more than anything. I don't want my government to tell me what I need to do in my personal life or religiously or any of that. So honestly, I could care less what comes out of his mouth about that type of stuff. Okay. Do I want him to have conservative values? Yes, I do. Okay. But let's not forget he is a businessman. He is in it to make money. Okay. I wouldn't even doubt it. And people have said that he doesn't have any type of investments in big pharma. I wouldn't doubt that he does. And that's exactly why he's going to sit there and push so hard to develop a vaccine and push so hard for people to like it, right? And not fire Dr. Fauci, who's the one that's helping him push it, and give credit to Biden, you know, for admitting that he did a great thing by creating the vaccine. I mean, people need to open their eyes. People need to open their eyes and stop putting this man on a pedestal. Is he a great president? Yes, I do think he is. I think he will. If he ran again and he was the only other person that we could choose from, I would vote for him again. I'm not going to say I wouldn't, because I definitely don't want another Democrat in office. Okay. So I will vote for him. I don't think he's that terrible. But I think that people, and again, Liddell said it in the comments, it's kind of a good thing that he's doing this, because people need to see him for what he is, and they need to realize we have relied too much on government to tell us what to do and how to do it. We need to take back our power that we have always had, but we have put so much power in government to control us. We've allowed it the entire time. We've allowed it. So that's my thoughts on it.
Well, that's because people don't know what this means. And the conservatives don't even know exactly what this means. People just wear it because it's a trend. Oh, 1776, great. I'll put that on my shirt. I put it on a mug and on a hat. People don't know what it means. People don't realize that we have sole control and power over everything that does or doesn't happen in this nation. And we don't take hold of that. And that's why things like this continue to happen. That's why we don't vote properly. That's why these laws get passed in our state and our cities, and we don't have a say-so in it, because we don't show up to the city council meetings or the school board meetings and speak our piece. There's a whole lot more that we could do to ensure that things go in the direction that they should be going. But when they don't go, we want to point the finger at government. Oh, this politician didn't do this, or this person turned out to be shady. This person's a rhino and all that. But okay, what about you though? It's not up to them. You have to vote them in. You can have them removed. We have so much more power than we put forth. And when the outcomes don't go in our favor, we don't take ownership of that. So for me, that's why I tune in to people like Suni, because Suni is smart, very smart. And I first came across her, like I said, from watching what ABL was on there. I'm like, this girl's got some stuff. I was like, you know what? There's a whole lot that I don't know. And I realized how much I don't know by listening to her. So that made me become more informed. And we need stuff like that. We have to know what our rights are, who we are as we the people. And until we can figure that out and really take hold of what this number means, we're going to continue to crash and burn every time one of our favorite people says something we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yep. I think we also need to put more effort into local government. You guys have to realize his title, whoever he is or she is, God forbid it's ever a she, is president of the United States. It's a huge title, but they don't have the control that you think that they have. The people that we really need to be focusing on are our local leaders. Those are the people that are affecting you on a daily basis, not the president of the United States. They make big decisions, okay? But their decisions are highly guided by the decisions that our elected officials have. So, you know, we need to also put some recognition into that as well.
Yeah, I put a little bit more criticism on Trump because I'm at the federal level. All right. True. Whatever the White House does, the Pentagon is going to do, and that directly affects me, which is why I go a little bit harder, because you just completely told your military to just be quiet. And it's like, bro, over half the military is against this. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Over half the country is against this. There are liberals that are against this. Don't just blow somebody off and say, I made this, it's great. And if I was in office, you guys would be going to get it. No, we wouldn't. And if he doesn't come back and fix that, there ain't no 2024 Trump. Mm-hmm. I can guarantee it. People,
but I'm okay with that.
Vote for him.
Honestly, I'm okay with that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't need even if he didn't say this, I didn't want him back anyway. And I know it sounds crazy, but we don't need that. We don't need it. There's so much controversy attached to his name. Anything he would try to do, anything he would try to pass, no matter what, if his name was attached to it or anyone was attached to him, it'll be so much drama. It's not even worth it. So and I know we're not talking about if he didn't say this, because he did, right. But I was already in that mindset that we don't need that problem anymore. So we definitely should have already shifted our focus towards what next, because Trump has been in everybody's mouths for what do we? Well, he was 4 years in, and what are we? A year now. So what? 5 years, even a year after being out. That's too much. I don't like drama. So imagine him coming back. It's what 2016 to 2020 all over again. We don't want that. We need relief. We need a break. So I don't know who. I wouldn't even know whose hat I would say they need to throw in the ring. But Mo said, "God forbid it's a woman." People think Candace. People think Candace should do it.
No,
not after that interview. Not after that interview. Hell no. Listen, if she can't even push him on that simple question, how's she going to run the country? How are you going to push back against big world leaders who have zero respect for women? Seriously?
Right. It's gonna be hard. Yes.
No.
It's gonna be uphill battle right there.
My thing with what Unifier just said is like there's too much drama or controversy like surrounding Trump's name, and like, you know, it's hard to get things passed. If it would be hard to get things passed if Trump's name was associated with it. My thing is it's like if we have like the majority in the Senate and we have the House, like that wouldn't really be an issue. And any person that goes in with a America First agenda, that's become like widespread. DeSantis, Ted Cruz, Brand Paul, these people, like any one of those people, controversy is going to rise around them from the left. It's worked in the past. They're gonna paint them as racist, as sexist, as, you know, homophobic, stuff like this. It's gonna happen to whoever is going to represent the American people on the Republican side. So like, my thing about Trump is that's good, is that he was incredibly strong. This man went through like absolute hell. Him and his family went through absolute hell for 4 years. And it was because he wanted to put America first, and he wanted to get away from the radical, you know, agenda, like putting, like, for instance, Obama, when he came in, he completely like reconstructed society, culture, you know, with majorly like the LGBTQ standpoints, like the bathroom thing, and the excessive military integration. So like, no matter who we have, if they're representing like the American people properly, they're going to have controversy. It doesn't matter if they're orange, white, yellow, black, they're going to have controversy.
Agreed.
That's true. Very true.
I agree, man.
So
This was a fun show.
I know this is your
What's up?
thing, but I want to ask you a question. So if conservatism is dead, right? What would it take? What would it take to revive it and put things where they're supposed to be?
People no longer being afraid. I do not think the earth is flat. That's all that. People are afraid to even get on here and say little things that I say. Hey, repeal the 19th. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to get canceled if I said that. Well, why? Hey, we need to actually give trans people help because they're dealing with the mental illness. It's from trauma through life. They're afraid to say that. They're afraid to say Jesus. They're afraid to say freaking Merry Christmas. So when the fear leaves and people actually stand up for what they believe in, then it can be revived, in my personal opinion. I do agree with what they were saying. Well, the definition is dead because people have changed that. Right. But you have Christians that are very, very meek and docile, as if Christianity was just something, well, Jesus was weak. No, bro, Jesus was not weak. He was strong, and he stood for what he believed in. If you can't stand for what you believe in on something as small as this, a platform, then how are you going to go do that in life? People are afraid to get on here and show their face and say some of the things I'm saying. I don't want to get fired. I don't want this to happen to me. Like, fear is taking over everybody. When that leaves and you actually live in what you believe in, because God hasn't given us the spirit of fear or confusion, but of a strong and sound mind, then we'll be in a better spot. But people are weak, man. Just straight up weak.
But you know what, Suni? That's why I say, like, the resurrection has to be for sure coming, because I don't have faith in people to have the type of bravery that you're speaking of, okay, the people that lived before us had to really, really fight for freedom. I don't believe those people exist in large enough numbers anymore. You know, just today, for instance, I was at my son's volleyball practice, and there was this little kid with a VR headset, you know, and I know that that's like the new thing that came out, and he's like, doesn't see anything around him. He's out there living in a world that's just created for him. And then you have now this meta universe that Facebook is creating, that's going to create this fake universe, is we are no longer living in reality. People have lost touch with reality, which means they're going to lose the skill to be able to fight anymore, to even know when to fight, to know how to fight. Boys are growing up and they're not even playing with trucks anymore. They're playing with Barbie dolls and wearing lipstick and painting their nails, and we have to be okay with that. I don't think it's gonna come in our time. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe not, maybe it won't, but we should be laying the framework for the incoming generation to carry on the torch. Like, I'm raising strong, independent minds. I don't care what you learn in school. They learn something in school, they immediately come home. Mom, what's this mean? We have that conversation. Stop lying to your kids. Santa Claus ain't real. Tooth Fairy ain't real. None of that stuff is real. I don't teach my kids that. They have a very realistic view of the world. It's not unicorns and rainbows. Yeah, you can grow up to be anything you want to be, except for another gender, but you also have to work hard. Because if you don't work hard, you're probably not going to have anything.
Right.
Stop giving people an unrealistic view of life and tell them exactly what it is. You get canceled for telling the truth. Truth is now the new hate speech. And it is what it is. Acting like it's not happening. Well, that's conspiracy theory. No, it's not. It's here. It ain't going nowhere. This is a new normal. You need to figure out how to live and thrive through these parameters, or you're going to get left behind. And I'm sorry, but get away from me. You want to stay left behind? Go ahead. I'm going to leave you back there, and I'm going to keep going. Yeah. So when people lose their fear, we'll be in a better spot. But people are too afraid to say the simplest things because people like this, I'm going to show you guys something. Just bored with life. The Don't Support Trump page literally just posted me and said, track her every move and take down her YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
Really? I'm that powerful of a voice that you need to track my every move? Go ahead.
That sounds like liberal tactics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, it bothers me that they don't do anything about that. You would not believe the kind of stuff I saw that was allowed today on Instagram. I can't even explain to you. I can't even choose the right words. But it was any kid that will stumble on Instagram, because they make where you can be 13 now to join, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
that's not good, because what they suggest when someone's live ends, the lives that they suggest, that has nothing to do with your algorithm. They can put anything up there, and the stuff that I saw pop up today or in the past 24 hours, I could not believe that they allowed them to do this kind of stuff on Instagram Live. I'm like, where is the censorship on that? Nudity. Okay. I'm not sure how much you can say on here, Suni, but I mean, girls pleasuring themselves on Instagram Live all day. Because I'll watch someone's live, it ends, that's popping up in a quad. I'm like, okay, and someone else live ends, pops up on a quad. I'm like, they allow this? Like, I mean, so you can't censor that. You can't censor people putting people's address out there and threatening people's lives and literally stalking folks, like what's happening in Suni. You can't do anything about that. But you want to shut down everyone. So every time someone mentions the word COVID and it goes against a narrative, every time someone says anything against any kind of narrative, you want to shut down their page, but you can't shut that down. It blows my mind what they allow. So I mean,
I have people calling me like literal like enter like all the way through PR, and I reported it. I've seen that. And the Facebook said that it didn't go against the community guidelines of hate speech.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I reported some of those and they said, it doesn't go against it. Yeah. I'm like, how is it not?
For posting it. Yeah.
Right.
So
that's hate speech. That's hate speech. So how does it not go against guidelines?
Because I'm conservative.
Does it happen to you guys? Every time you click on someone's page, it shows you this automatic message that says, please remember to say kind things or whatever it says is automatic message. Are you guys getting that too?
Maintain guidelines, yes.
Mm-hmm. So they're doing that. But when we report it, going against what you said to do, be nice. You don't see a problem. Like, this is so weird to me. So, but just to go back to what Suni was saying real fast, it is fear amongst the conservatives, but it's also laziness too. You have people that are mainstream, like Candace Owens, and you got Brandon Tatum. And then you have you guys. Sorry, man, I'm not familiar with you, James. But if you have a big platform, we got you. We got Suni. We got Mo here, and people know you guys. People subscribe to you guys. And they're speaking through you. That's fine
Right.
to a point. To a point. Because I know people who don't know who ABL is. I know people who don't know who Tatum is. People who don't know who Sunni is. So the people that we know to be second nature, they don't know who they are. So why aren't we schooling these people? We should be, just watch this video. So I think it's laziness. We want someone else to do the hard work because we're too afraid. It goes back to the fear too. But then we're waiting. If they do it, I don't have to look bad. I don't have to say anything controversial. I don't have to be, ridiculed and ostracized from family and friends. That it doesn't work like that. You got to do your part too. We all do.
Yeah.
We need
So-
to get back in the streets as conservatives, as influencers. We need to get back into interviewing people, into putting a mic in somebody's face and saying and talking about controversial topics. We need to get back out and doing that. A lot of conservatives are speaking to people who agree with them. We're not going into college campuses. We're not speaking in front of audiences of liberals, people who want to kill us. We're not doing that anymore. And we need to get back to that. And it's because we let Donald Trump speak for us. We let Donald Trump take the heat from the liberals. That was the first time we had a man going up there and doing that. And we stopped fighting. And we need to go back out and fight.
I was saying we need to rent a big ass tour bus and put our faces on the outside of it and then just drive across the country and do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
that would be fun. That would be fun.
I
agree, man.
Yeah, like
we were talking about this in the private chat that we all have, and it's just it's time to do something now.
Yep.
Stop talking. Do something. Put something small together. It don't even have to be something extravagant. Put something small together, and invite everybody who's going to represent every opinion, and challenge me. Challenge me. Ask a question and make me sit there and defend it. I guarantee you, more people would tune into that than right or left echo chambers where they're hearing the same thing over and over and over. Right. People like controversy. We're talking about 2021. It's idiocracy. They're used to just dumb stuff. But if you put a controversial subject in front of them where they can learn from it, and you might say something they disagree with, and they're going to see people go at it, and there's some fire, people are going to gravitate to that.
They will.
That's why I believe Tyler is very necessary and important in this day and age. You need a Tyler. Or if not, it's going to be boring.
Yeah.
Put an adversary in the mix.
Yeah.
I've asked this question all the time. Why won't Candace or Brandon or any of the big conservatives, why don't they promote people like us? Why don't they bring us onto their platforms? And look, you can disagree with us. It is what it is. Disagree. But give people a wide view of what conservatism and the right actually looks like. And some people don't even follow the right. Some people are like, man, forget government altogether. I'm an anarchist. Put people like that out there.
Yeah.
Promote us. We are young. We can reach a completely different demographic.
Well, that's why I like Bryson now. Be honest, I didn't like Bryson at first because I didn't like his take after the January 6th thing. I didn't like his take on it. I was going to tell him that when he was on here, but anyway, I didn't know how to slide that in there. Because for me, I like being upfront and real, because if that video comes up and someone watches it, hey, you said all this, but you're over there talking to him. So I'm not being fake. I was going to tell him. I forgot. So what happened was I didn't like his take on the January 6th thing. He was like, no, we should have been in there. I was like, no, we shouldn't have. Like, dude. And he was saying, oh, y'all are weak for thinking that was a problem. I'm like, no, man. So I stopped following him. I stopped following Tatum. I was upset. But then after some months went by, I got over myself and I started listening to other things they said. I was like, you know what? We don't see eye to eye on that, but all this, we're all good.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like people like Bryson, because I don't know how many times he told me he disagreed with me, but neither one of us were wrong. We just had different viewpoints on the conservative movement as a whole. We all did. So there's a couple of times he said, I disagree with that, but this, that. So it wasn't necessarily an echo chamber because it, like you said, show all sides of the right wing movement, not just the cookie cutter conservative and everyone repeats what each other says. Like Sunni, I heard you say it on your live before, where everyone's jumping on there and saying, you're right, you're right, you're right. I'm sure you appreciate the support, but I've heard you say it's an echo chamber. We need someone to come on here and let's talk. Let's debate. That is so healthy. It is so healthy, and we need more of that. So yeah, that's why I respect what all of you guys do. I'm just starting to find out about James. That's my fault. But what all you guys have been doing is impressive. It inspires me to keep moving. We need to do that for other folks too.
Yeah, man. Thank you all for coming on. I hope we can have more conversations like this where people aren't afraid to criticize Trump. And I don't think most people even knew about the whole Chinese investment company.
I didn't.
Bruh, you need to stay consistent or you about to lose a good portion of your base and the RNC will be obsolete. Oh, you got Trump there? Automatic turn off.
Mhm.
It's no different than what conservatism is going through. Oh, Candace is there. Psh. And we all love Candace, but there's an entire different world that's like, I don't like how she talks. I don't like how Tatum talks.
Right.
So present other options to make your side more to make people just be interested. They don't have to agree with Trump. You don't have to agree with me, but damn. Can we just have a wide view of people?
Right.
Can we appreciate opinions?
Right.
Amen.
Yeah, that's what I love about ABL. He'll have that live twice a week, and he'll have people call in and just let's talk. Let's do that. That's so healthy. I love it. Some people are crazy, but for the most part, he can make it make sense, you know, and that's what I love about that.
The Cowboys suck, Liddell. Okay,
the Cowboys.
You guys,
come on.
Thank you. The team that you guys are beating is a nothing burger. Who
Let's
cares
see what happens
about
come playoff time. Come on now. It's too early, man. So y'all always talking about Super Bowl. As soon as you get one, you be 1-0 Super Bowl.
Hey, how do we get a call-in number? How does ABL do that? We need a call-in number here. We need people to call in.
I think it's a Skype number. I know Modern Renaissance Man does it too. I don't know how he does it.
We're gonna get all
need
of
a
Sunni's haters
roadcaster.
calling in, every single one.
It'll be fun. Oh my goodness, that would be
Yeah.
the best show ever.
Go.
Well, because we have such a good time doing it, or we did have a good time doing it before you got kicked off Instagram, you know, when we were doing it on your lives. You know what I mean? That's what really turned me on to Sunni, is that she is not afraid to bring people on that are just completely opposite from her. In fact, she welcomes it. She's like, don't come on here if you're going to agree with me. She gets
It's boring, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to people I agree with. I want to talk to people I disagree with.
Yeah.
Liddell, bruh. Come on. I miss Sunni on Instagram. I don't. I'm going to be honest. I enjoy not being on Instagram anymore. Now, if I just do an appearance every now and then from different profiles, I'm going to hop on and do that. Like we were talking about a live on Instagram, and I can't wait to be a part of that because I know that's going to open up an entirely new demographic to who I am. Come challenge me. I'm good, but I won't have a strong presence on Instagram because it's just not worth my time until they fix what's going on and actually let people have their platforms without having, because you have to have a blue check mark to even have your stuff safe. That's insanity to me.
Yeah.
The average person can't even get on there and exist.
You gotta get in the news, Sunni. You gotta get.
Put me on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
somebody
you need to go viral.
I know.
I don't think they would have. I honestly think I'm too much of a liability because.
Speaking about viral, conservatives, if you really think about it, conservative influencers have not gone viral since 2020. We haven't gone viral. Think of it. Not outside of our community, we have not gone viral. I checked it.
Wow.
We haven't. It hasn't happened.
Wow.
Candace, all of them, none of them have gone viral since 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
We haven't stirred the pot. There's no controversy. Everybody's just sitting in the stronghold, and they're not opening the doors. We need to start getting out there and
getting out
controversy. There. Charlie Kirk said it at America Fest. He was in the room with all the ambassadors, and he was just like, "You guys are just sitting at home in your podcast," and he's like, "Nobody's getting on the streets anymore. Nobody's doing this anymore." He's like, "You guys need to get back on the streets." And I absolutely 110% agree with him. Is that's the only way we're going to start raising up some new Candaces and some new Brandons. Like, we need to start being controversial again.
Hey, I'll be back in 24, man. I'm stuck in Japan.
Unifier.
They closed the borders. No, real shit. They closed the borders.
They closed the borders where you're.
They closed the borders. There is no travel because of
You're stuck with
Omicron.
Oh wow,
Yes.
Oh,
that's
gosh.
insane. Just swim. Sooner, just swim.
So
I know,
I'll get on
right?
a ship and get smuggled in, and y'all meet me in Los Angeles and get me off the ship.
Right.
Or Hawaii. Hawaii. You can make it to Hawaii.
Well, you know
Close
they
the
love using those
border.
cargo ships.
But you know what I can do? And this is what I was gonna do. You can take rotator flights in and out. But the thing is it's not a guaranteed flight. And I don't want to be stuck in the States away from my kids for too long, waiting for a flight to bring me back here. That's the only downfall about this. But the borders are definitely closed. They were like, yep, you're not coming in, you ain't leaving, y'all can figure it out.
I don't even
Dang.
get that though, because you had so many people saying, "Oh, this Omicron thing is not even that bad." Now they're canceling flights and
I
doing all
know
this
why.
craziness.
I know, it's Japan.
Why?
Hawaii is the same way. Hawaii will like lock down because if there's like anything like a strain of the flu, they'll lock down their
Yeah.
borders. They
It's
don't have the
insane.
immunities we have on the mainland.
Hey, look, I'm in there, man. Y'all have something set up for me, and I'll make it work. I've been trying to find people who aren't afraid to just like go out into the public and talk, but a lot of people are afraid. I'm
Daryl,
not.
we live close to each other. Why don't we go do that? We literally live like 20 minutes away from each other.
I know, right?
Why are we
Even
not hitting
Liddell,
these streets?
Liddell got to stop talking about the Cowboys though. He can come too, but he's got to
Oh,
stop talking about the Cowboys.
yeah,
He's got a
true.
corner too.
You can't wear the jersey
True.
with though.
Yeah, don't bring
No,
that. We're not here for
no.
that.
Don't bring it.
This is serious. But no.
We should do that for real though.
Yeah, we should. Honestly, I'm all in.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about
Ain't
it.
you in Texas, James? Or are you back in Utah?
No, he's in Utah.
I'm moving to Texas as fast as I can.
Oh, see?
Where are you
Yeah.
moving? Where are you gonna come to?
Dallas area.
Hey, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
There you go.
Go for it.
Gang.
Just put me on a big screen and just let me say stuff to trigger people.
Roll you around.
Yeah, I'll talk to Jerry Jones and see if we can borrow Cowboy Stadium since Liddell loves it so much.
Repeal the 19th. Women will be like, what? Who is this girl?
We should all chip in for like a big billboard in Dallas of just SUNY repeal the 19th, right?
That'd be
Yo,
awesome.
do you know that you can actually buy billboard time on the digital ones? All you have to do is send in it's dope. All you got to do is send in a graphic and you pay for your times where it's going to be the most popular. Put my face on there and put repeal the 19th and then my social media handles. I bet you I go viral.
Hey.
I think
that's not a bad
we
idea.
should put you in white face. Okay, that should be the digital image.
That would be funny.
That would do it. Yes, it would.
Thank you
But-
guys for coming. This was
Yeah.
another great episode of MATA. Make America Think Again. I like having these conversations because I don't think people think anymore. They're in their echo chambers. Candace said it, so I'm going to go repeat what Candace and Brandon said, and it's right. Charlie Kirk said it. Please, man. There are things that I disagree with them on a ton, but we can respectfully disagree. Thank you all for coming on. Stay behind after the show ends, but thank you for coming on. And thank you guys for giving me an hour and 18 minutes of your time. And please go report the pages that are weird. Go report those pages. Do like they do. All they do is mass report our stuff when we get taken down. It's that simple. They have bots. No time. Well, they're computer nerds. They sit up and they pull up the command screen and they type in a algorithm, type in a few codes, and the computer will sit there all day and report your stuff.
Yep.
All day.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Crazy.
That's how it works.
Learn something new every day. Peace out, guys.